Hello, welcome back to my haunted library and welcome to another Slow Burn Sunday. So today we have a film that I remember when I was a kid and I really loved it, and it's called Haunts of the Very Rich. It feels like this film is based on another older film, but I couldn't find the information about that. I just feel like I read that somewhere. Anyway, there are going to be tons of spoilers, and this film definitely has a big twist. So if you don't want to know about it, stop watching. But no, keep watching, but maybe watch the film first, or perhaps you've already seen it. So this came out, I believe, in 1975, and it's written by T.K. Brown III and William P. Wood, and directed by Paul Wenkos. And it has an amazing ensemble cast, including Lloyd Bridges, love him, Cloris Leachman, Ed Asner, and Francis, Tony Bill, Donna Mills, and Robert Reed, and Moses Gunn. So this group of supposed rich people are all heading, and businessmen, because I don't think Ed Asner's character is that rich, but anyway, they're all heading to this unknown destination on this beautiful airplane. Now, I do remember I took my first airplane ride in 1977, and the planes did kind of look like that. Like what we deal with now when we air travel is so inhumane, the way they pack us in like sardines. My first plane trip was from Philadelphia to California, and it was like this big 747, and it had like the lounge with the spiral staircase. You went up and hung out at the lounge upstairs, had the movie screen, like the seats were like this, practically, and a beautiful stewardess would bring you a hot meal. Like, that's what it was like. It was so much more civilized. So we see this cast of characters. Donna Mills and Tony Bill are making out. There's some corny song playing. They recognize the singer. Oh, it's too bad he was killed in an airplane crash or something. So we have a little bit of an ominous start. Lloyd Bridges' character, I'm going to call them by their actor names. I think it's a little easier to keep them straight, but he's a Lothario. He's hitting on Anne Francis, who you might know her from being in Forbidden Planet, the old 50s sci-fi movie. She, a very beautiful actress. But again, these are people that a lot of these actors were in their heyday, 20 years before, and now are doing TV movies. Lloyd Bridges, of course, is the father of Jeff Bridges and Beau Bridges. And I'm sure I thought of Lloyd Bridges as a very old man when I watched this the first time, but this time around I'm watching him in his 70s clothes and then no shirt for a couple scenes, and I'm like, damn, the good looks run in the family. I especially had a crush on Beau Bridges back in the day. Anyway, Cloris Leachman, of course, famous actress from Young Frankenstein, and she had her own TV show, Phyllis. She was also, great comedian, but also a great dramatic actress. She was in The Last Picture Show, among other great films and television programs. Same with Ed Asner. He, of course, played Mr. Grant in Mary Tyler Moore show, and he always kind of played that, well, maybe not always, but I just remember him always kind of playing that gruff character. And he on the plane is like, where the hell are we going? I got an appointment in Boston in an hour, like kind of thing. And all the windows of the plane are painted shut, and the very nice stewardess is like, well, you're just going to have to find out. So where are they going? Well, the honeymoon couple just knows they're going somewhere glamorous. Cloris Leachman signed up for this wonderful spa vacation. And Frances, who's very attractive, Lloyd Bridges is already trying to hit on her, had a bit of a nervous breakdown from dealing with her family and her husband and her kids, and she just really needs some time to herself. Oh, and there's Robert Reed, Mr. Brady. You'll know him from playing Mr. Brady, a preacher, reverend, who had a near drowning experience, and he is trying to recover his faith, or he's on a personal spiritual quest. So they get to the island, and this story is kind of like Fantasy Island meets Jean-Paul Sartre's No Exit. Like, it definitely has that feel. In fact, a lot of these TV movies were like pilots in a way of shows. Like The Night Stalker started this way and then became a TV show. And there are other examples. So when they get to the island, it's not Ricardo Montalban in his white suit, but it is a man in a white suit, Moses Gunn. The man in the white suit is kind of like a death symbol in voodoo religion, I believe. But yeah, he sort of has that air about him. There's no tattoo, there's no the plane, anything like that. But this figure of Seacrest is his name. The resort itself is called the Portals of Eden, and when they taxi from the plane on the ferry to the resort, it's really beautiful. All of the rooms are specially made for each individual guest. So Lloyd Bridges, who's the Lothario, it's all like a bachelor pad, a really cool 70s version of a bachelor pad. Ed Asner's is not so special because he's this kind of gruff businessman. And they're all kind of settling in. Of course, the newlywed couple wants to immediately go to bed, but when they pull back the sheets, there's a snake in there. So now we have another symbol of death. We have the man in the white suit. We have the snake in the bed. Never a good sign. Cloris Leachman is there, and she gets a full massage with this lovely masseuse who works at the hotel. And she has her hair and makeup done, and she looks absolutely beautiful. Lloyd Bridges is already starting to try to seduce Anne Francis in the dining room. But then she starts telling him about her family and her kids and her husband, and he starts to be like, oh, I've been there before. But who's this? Cloris Leachman comes floating into the dining room looking beautiful, and immediately he switches tactics and starts to move in on Cloris Leachman. And we find that these two actually develop a beautiful relationship in this setting. This is kind of the center piece of the film, is their falling in love, these middle-aged couple. And he really confesses to her that, yeah, I have been a swine my whole life. I've cheated on my wife, but she won't give me a divorce, and she's so pathetic. Every time I try to leave, she tries to kill herself. I can't take the pressure. And she's so clingy and pathetic. And Cloris Leachman's like, well, I think I would be clingy too if we were together. And he's like, no, I love you. Now, is she going to believe him? Well, they do kind of fall in love. Like, I feel like he has gone through something of a transition, a changed man, maybe. The preacher, Robert Reed, is on a different mission. He decides he's going to run off into the jungle and commune with the indigenous people and learn about their spiritual ways. So he goes off to take peyote with the natives, and the honeymoon couple starts bickering. Their love nest is not what they had hoped, and she starts saying to him, well, you were an idiot. You got into that car accident on their way to the airport. They start comparing notes. Well, wait a second. Each of us had a near-death experience. The preacher almost drowned. Lloyd Bridges confesses that he had a heart attack. Cloris Leachman's character is like, well, I got bit by a rabid dog and I was allergic to the antidote. Oh, and Anne Francis's character, well, she always took pills to help her relax, but her husband gave her some special pills right before she got here. So something's going on. Ed Asner's like, yeah, nothing happened to me. Well, later he admits it. You know what? I did get drunk one night recently and I fell down a flight of stairs. So they're all kind of comparing notes about what happened. Sorry, but I'm actually jumping ahead. The first night they're there, there's this big storm that knocks out all the power, and they only have a few days worth of water and food. So Seacrest takes off, and he's going to go through the jungle. It's a 4-day hike, but he knows how to get to the next city. He won't tell them what city it is, but he'll be back. He'll be back with a plane and supplies, don't worry. So they're left alone, and things start to deteriorate. No one's waiting on them like they want to. The women are sitting at the table like, why are people waiting on us? Well, Anne Francis, who's a very emotionally delicate woman, can't handle the pressure. She starts to freak out, and she cuts her wrist. Cloris Leachman finds her, and she recovers, but later she tells Lloyd Bridges, it's like, no, she was dead. There was blood everywhere. She was dead. In fact, we're all dead. And so this is the big twist. They're in hell. They all died, and this is their no exit. Hell is other people. They're here on this beautiful place, but they're doomed to kind of go through these cycles of hope and disappointment over and over again for all eternity. And it's really cool the way this plays out. I'm jumping a lot of different parts, but Robert Reed's character manages to come back to the resort, and he's all shaken. He's, the things that he's seen. He took peyote, and all he saw was like death and darkness. He went into the heart of darkness, let's say, the jungle, and came back shaken and confused. There's nothing. It's all just darkness and death. Everyone's starting to really kind of freak out. Ed Asner is, the masseuse girl dies from eating the canned food that's not so healthy, but then her body comes back, like she revives. So they know this is not normal. Something really weird is going on, and just when they think all kind of convinced that they're dead, a plane shows up, like a seaplane shows up, and they run down the dock. They're like, oh, finally, we're saved. We're so out of it. We thought we were dead. And then it turns out that this like young dude who is flying the plane, Donna Mills recognizes him as the rock star who died, or the singer. It wasn't really a rock star based on the corny song, but the singer, it's him. I know it was him. So now they all think they're going to die again. And then Seacrest shows up with another pilot. He's like, oh, and we're here. I'm going to here to save you. Just run and get your things, and you're all going to be okay. So, of course, again, they have this feeling of relief. They go to get their things, and he's not there when they get back. And then they realize they're just in a loop. Oh, there's this really funny scene with Ed Asner. The water's contaminated, but once he realizes he's dead, he's like, oh, I'll drink it. And he's got his like wife beater on, and he goes to drink it, and he hears the plane and just like spits out the water. It's really nicely done. So then they hear that plane leave, and they're all in the lobby like, what's going on? What do we do? We are in hell. What's happening? Suddenly, Lloyd Bridges' wife shows up. She killed herself. And now she's in her bathrobes, all depressed. And she's like, I can be with you forever now, She starts coming toward him. I love you. I don't care what you did. And he can't confront this horror. So he grabs Cloris Leachman, and they run through the resort like in slow motion. They're trying to escape hell. They go into the jungle, and there's this crazy music playing. And you hear all the voices of the people and all of their hellscape. And I think at the end it's Ed Asner's voice that just says hell, and the sky goes orange. And that is the end of Haunts of the Very Rich. Yeah, it's really great, and there's some great moments in it. And I think the best part for me, watching it again, is the relationship with Lloyd Bridges and Cloris Leachman. I mean, all the ensemble is good, but the story is really focused on them, and they do a great job with this very believable relationship, and you have hope for them. Well, I did invite Batilda to participate in this discussion, but I just received a text from her where she said she won an all-expense-paid trip to a tropical paradise called Portals of Eden. So all I did was text back and tell her, have a great time and stay as long as you like. So I hope you enjoyed my discussion of Haunts of the Very Rich. I really had a great time revisiting this film. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen it, if you've enjoyed it, what you think, and if you have any recommendations for future Slow Burn Sundays. I would love to hear your thoughts. So that's all I have for today. Thanks for stopping by my haunted library, and I'll see you soon. Bye.